My girlfriend let me pay off $188,000 debt and fix her life, then said I wasn't good enough, so I took back everything, exposed her fraud, and watched her go to jail now. Okay, so this whole mess started about a year and a half ago. I, 29, male, met Jessica, 26, female, at my buddy Mike's house party. She was definitely a 10 out of 10. Long brown hair, green eyes, the kind of girl that makes you do a double take when she walks in. What really got me was that she actually seemed into me. Like she laughed at my dumb jokes and kept asking questions about my IT job, which honestly is boring as hell, but she acted like I was some tech genius. We exchanged numbers that night and started texting. We went on a few dates, nothing fancy, just coffee, a movie, that kind of thing. After about 3 weeks, we made it official. The first month was awesome. Fun dates and the whole honeymoon phase thing. She was always taking pics of us for her Instagram and telling me how lucky she was to find a good guy. But I noticed that she always wanted to come to my place instead of hers, or how she'd suggest we order in rather than go out, saying she was trying to save money. I thought it's not a big deal as long as we're both comfortable. Then the sob stories started coming. Small things at first. Her phone got shut off because she forgot to pay the bill. Her landlord was being a jerk about her being late on rent. Her boss cut her hours. I believed all of it. About 6 weeks in, I went to her apartment for the first time. It was tiny and kind of messy, but whatever. We were eating cheap Chinese takeout when her phone rang. She looked at it, ignored the call, then 2 minutes later, ignored it again. I could see she was getting stressed. "Everything okay?" I asked. She burst into tears, like full-on sobbing. I had no clue what to do, so I just put my arm around her and waited. "My car," she finally said. "The mechanic called. It's going to cost $1,200 to fix, and I don't have it. I don't know what I'm going to do." Then it all came pouring out. She had almost $18,000 in credit card debt. She was behind on every bill. Her credit score was like 480. She couldn't even get approved for a basic store card. She was completely screwed financially, and she had an explanation for all of it. "My ex, Tyler, did this to me," she said, wiping her mascara that was running down her face. "We were together for 2 years, and he was between jobs for most of it. He convinced me to put everything on my cards, rent, food, his car payment, everything. He promised he'd pay me back when he got on his feet. Then I found out he was cheating with some girl from his gym, and he just disappeared, blocked me everywhere, left me with all this debt. Man, I was pissed at this Tyler dude I'd never even met. Who does that to someone they supposedly love?" She seemed so broken, saying stuff like, "I'm drowning, and I'll never get out of this hole." I remember sitting there thinking how I'd been raised to be good with money. My parents taught me to save. I had a decent emergency fund, and my IT job paid pretty well. So I said what I now realize was the beginning of the end. Maybe the first can help you figure this out. The way she looked at me then, man, her eyes got all big and hopeful, like I'd just thrown her a life preserver when she was drowning. She hugged me tight and whispered, "No one's ever believed in me like you do, Jake." Not going to lie, it felt amazing to be her hero. That feeling is what made me ignore all the red flags that came after. The next couple of months, I tried to help her get organized, made her a budget spreadsheet, showed her how to negotiate with credit card companies, basic financial stuff. But there was always some new emergency that needed cash right now. Her car needed another repair, her mom needed money for medicine, her hours got cut again. The excuses never stopped. And, like an idiot, I believed every single one. After 6 months of dating, I finally gave in and paid off her most urgent debts. About $4,000 worth of overdue bills, and her highest interest credit card. I didn't have the cash just sitting around, so I actually dipped into my savings that I'd been building for a house down payment someday. When I transferred the money to her account, she cried and promised she'd pay me back. She even wrote up this cute little IOU on a piece of paper with hearts drawn on it. Things seemed better for a while. She was less stressed, more affectionate, always thanking me for believing in her and talking about our future together. I started thinking maybe this was the real deal. Maybe she was the one. 2 months later, I added her as an authorized user on my credit card. I told her it was just for emergencies, but somehow everything became an emergency. New clothes for job interviews, hair appointments because first impressions matter, a weekend trip with her girlfriends because she needed to network. Each time I'd question a charge, she'd get all teary-eyed and say something like, "I'm just trying to improve myself," or "I need to look professional to get a better job," and, because I was so whipped, I'd feel like the bad guy for even asking. Her credit score started improving because of being on my account. She was super happy about it, constantly checking the score on her phone and showing me how it went up. "You're changing my life," she'd say. I never thought I'd escape that mess. I felt proud of myself. Stupid, but proud. I really thought I was helping the woman I loved build a better future, our future. Started thinking about moving in together, maybe even proposing next year. Then her car finally died completely. It was this piece of crap, Toyota, that was probably older than both of us combined. She called me, crying from the side of the highway, saying it just stopped running and started smoking. The tow truck guy told her it would cost more to fix than the car was worth. "How am I going to get to work?" She sobbed over the phone. "I'm going to lose my job, and then I can't pay any bills, and everything you helped me fix will be ruined." I didn't even think twice that weekend. I took her to a car dealership and bought her a new Hyundai. Nothing fancy, just a reliable sedan that would last her years without problems. Cost me $24,000, which I financed under my name because her credit still wasn't good enough for a decent rate. When I handed her the keys, she jumped into my arms, wrapped her legs around me and kissed me hard. "You're the best thing that's ever happened to me," she whispered in my ear. That night, she was more affectionate than ever. The next morning, I woke up to her taking pictures with the car for Instagram. Her caption, "Upgrade my life with a heart emoji." No mention of me anywhere. Not even a subtle grateful for new beginnings or a hint that maybe she didn't just manifest a brand new car into existence. Something about that sat weird with me. After all, I was the one still making payments on it. But I shrugged it off. She was happy. And that was supposed to be enough. At least that's what I told myself. But then I started noticing things. Like how she suddenly started working late twice a week, even though her financial struggles were supposedly because her hours had been cut, or how her phone became off limits, always face down, notifications swiped away before I could glance over. Once, while she was showing me a meme, a text popped up from someone saved as just B with a bunch of heart emojis. She snatched the phone back so fast you'd think it was a bomb about to detonate. "Just my friend Brooke." She laughed nervously. Right, because that's a totally normal reaction to getting a text from a girlfriend. Then there was the lunch incident. I decided to surprise her at work, thinking it would be cute to grab a quick meal together. But instead of being happy to see me, she looked irritated, almost like I was interrupting something. The whole time she kept glancing at the door, checking her watch, rushing me through my food. "I have a big party coming in soon," she said. I waited. No party ever showed up. After a few weeks of brushing off the uneasy feeling in my gut, I decided to put my doubts to rest once and for all. That's when I came up with the idea for a weekend trip. A quiet cabin by the lake, just the two of us, nothing over the top, just some time away to reconnect. On the surface, it was a celebration of how far she'd come financially, a little getaway to mark the fresh start she always talked about. But deep down, it was a test. I needed to see if she was still us, if all the weird behavior was just in my head, if she was really in this relationship the way I thought she was. I even toyed with the idea of asking her to move in when we got back, thinking that if I was just being paranoid, this trip would prove it. But part of me already knew, if I had to plan a trip just to reassure myself that my own girlfriend wasn't playing me, something was already broken. I just didn't realize how bad it really was. While I was looking at cabins online one evening, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Ryan, a buddy who worked at the same restaurant as Jessica. "Hey man, not trying to start shit, but thought you should know Jessica's been hanging around this real estate dude who comes in for lunch. Guy drives a BMW and wears suits. She's been taking her breaks when he comes in. Doesn't look like just friendly customer service to me." My stomach did this weird dropping thing. Like when you miss a step going downstairs. Jessica hadn't seemed different lately. If anything, she'd been more affectionate, always thanking me for changing her life and talking about our future. I texted back, "Thanks, man. Know anything else about this guy?" Ryan. His name's Brian, some hotshot realtor, tips big, and always asks for Jessica's section. She giggles at everything he says. Didn't want to say anything, but saw them in the parking lot yesterday, talking pretty close. His hand was on her lower back. I sat there, staring at my phone, feeling like an idiot. Was she cheating or just being friendly with a good tipper? I decided I needed to find out myself. The next day, I called in sick to work. Told Jessica I was swamped with a project and would be working late, then I parked across from her restaurant around lunchtime. I felt like such a creep sitting there waiting, but I had to know. Sure enough, around 12:30, this dude in a gray suit pulled up in a black BMW. He looked like a douchebag, from a mile away. Slicked back hair, designer sunglasses, the works. I watched him go in and get seated in Jessica's section. Through the window, I could see them talking, and yeah, Ryan wasn't exaggerating. The way she touched his arm and laughed wasn't how you act with just any customer. During her break, they walked out to his car and talked for like 15 minutes. She was playing with her hair the whole time, something she did when she was flirting. They didn't kiss or anything, but the body language was obvious. This wasn't innocent. I felt sick but decided to keep watching. That night, Jessica texted, saying she had to work a double shift because someone called in sick. I drove by the restaurant at 9 in the evening, and guess what? Her car wasn't in the parking lot. I called the restaurant, pretending to be her brother with an emergency. The manager said she'd left at 8, so I drove to her apartment. Her car wasn't there either. I sat in my car, feeling like the biggest chump in the world. Around 11:30, I saw headlights pull in. It was Jessica in her Hyundai, the one I was still making $400 monthly payments on, and she wasn't alone. The BMW guy was following her. They parked, got out, and walked into her building together. I wanted to throw up. All those months of helping her, paying her debts, buying her a car, for what? So she could cheat on me with some real estate jerk? I was about to storm in there when I remembered something important: the car. The car was still legally mine. I had a spare key in my glove compartment. Instead of confronting them, I went home and made a plan. The next morning, I texted Jessica, "Need to talk. Meet me at Starbucks downtown at 2. She replied quickly, "Everything okay, babe? Just need to discuss something. See you at 2. I got to Starbucks early and watched her pull up in my car. She looked good. Too good for someone just meeting her boyfriend for coffee. New outfit, hair done, full makeup. She'd made an effort, and I knew it wasn't for me. She came in, ordered some fancy $7 coffee, which I paid for, of course, and sat down across from me with this fake concerned look. "What's up, babe? You seem weird." I looked her straight in the eyes. "Who's Brian?" Her face changed instantly. First shock, then anger, then fake innocence. "Brian? Oh, he's just a regular at the restaurant, good tipper." "Cut the shit, Jessica. I saw you with him last night." She froze for a second, then her whole personality changed. Like the sweet, vulnerable girl I'd fallen for just disappeared. She sat up straighter, her eyes got cold, and suddenly, I was looking at a completely different person. "Fine, Brian and I have been seeing each other. He's successful, ambitious, actually going somewhere in life." I let out a sharp laugh, my hands clenching into fists under the table. "And what am I then? Just some dead weight holding you back?" She sighed, like she was explaining something to a little kid. "Look, Jake, you're sweet, you really are, but Brian is on my level, or rather, the level I deserve to be at." "My level?" I repeated, not believing what I was hearing. "Yes, my level. I was stuck in a financial hole when we met. You helped me out, and I appreciate that, but now that I'm back on my feet, I need someone who can keep me there. Someone with ambition, connections. Brian just bought a condo downtown, and is taking me to Cancun next month." I leaned in, my voice calm but cutting. "You deserve better," I repeated, letting the words sink in. "Jessica, when I met you, you were drowning. Your credit was shot, you were dodging bill collectors, and your car was barely holding together with duct tape and prayers. You weren't living, you were surviving. And I was the one who pulled you out of the street." She opened her mouth to argue, but I wasn't done. "I picked you up when you had nothing. I paid off your debts, I gave you a fresh start, and what do I get in return? You acting like you leveled up all on your own and trading me in the second you found someone flashier." I let out a cold laugh. "You weren't looking for a partner, Jessica. You were looking for a sponsor. And guess what? Sponsorship revoked." She had the nerve to look annoyed. "Don't be dramatic. I was going to tell you this weekend. It's not personal. I just need to think about my future." I nodded slowly, taking a deep breath. Then I reached into my pocket and pulled out my keys. "What are those for?" she asked, looking confused. "The car," I said calmly. "I need to borrow it." "What?" "No, I need my car. I have plans with Brian later." "It's not your car, Jessica. It's mine. Check the paperwork, it's in my name. I'm still making payments on it." Her face went pale. "You can't take my car. How am I supposed to get around?" I stood up, feeling more in control than I had in months. Not my problem. "Maybe Brian can buy you one with all his real estate money." I walked out of Starbucks, ignoring her yelling behind me. I got in the car, my car, and drove away, leaving her standing in the street, watching in the rearview mirror as she stood in the parking lot, screaming and waving her arms like a crazy person. I texted her an hour later. "Find your own ride home. Your stuff from the car will be in a box on your doorstep. Don't contact me again." Then I blocked her number and started planning my revenge. Jessica thought she could use me and then throw me away. She was about to learn a very expensive lesson. As I was cleaning out the car, I found receipts for stuff I didn't buy. Expensive makeup, clothes, even a hotel reservation for the following weekend. She'd been using my credit card for everything. The anger I felt in that moment was like nothing I'd experienced before. This wasn't just about her cheating, she'd been playing me from the beginning. When I got home, I made a list of all the ways I'd help Jessica and how I could undo each one. I wasn't going to do anything illegal, I just wanted her to end up exactly where she'd started before I came along, broke and desperate. And that's exactly what I did. I called my credit card company. Hi, I need to remove an authorized user from my account immediately. The customer service lady asked if there was a problem. I just said, she's no longer part of my life, and I'm concerned about potential unauthorized charges. Done in 5 minutes. I also contacted my bank to stop any pending payments I'd set up for her other debts. Then I called the consolidation company I'd been working with to handle her remaining credit card balances and canceled our arrangement. By the next morning, Jessica's financial life was in shambles again. Her credit score would drop, her debts would reappear, and she had no transportation. But I wasn't done yet. Next target, Brian, her new upgrade. The guy deserved to know what he was getting into. Finding him wasn't hard. Jessica had already posted a picture with him on Instagram, with tags like #MovingUp and #RealEstatePower. His full name was Brian Thompson, one of those young, hotshot realtors with his face plastered on bus stop benches all over town. I found his business email and sent him a message. Hey Brian, you don't know me, but I'm Jake, Jessica Wilson's ex-boyfriend. We just broke up yesterday, actually. I wanted to give you a heads up about what you're getting into. For the past year, I've been paying off Jessica's massive debts, about $18,000 worth, fixing her credit score, and I even bought her the car she's probably been driving around in. She broke up with me right after I got everything squared away for her, saying she could finally date someone on her level. I'm guessing that's you. Just thought you should know she's not financially stable like she probably told you. She's actually terrible with money and will expect you to bail her out constantly. Also, I've reversed all the financial help I was giving her, so she's about to be in serious trouble. P.S. I've kept all the receipts and documentation showing I paid for everything, so there's nothing she can do about it. Good luck with that, gold digger. I almost didn't send it. For a second, I thought maybe I was going too far. I remembered her cold eyes when she said Brian was on her level and hit send. It took less than an hour for Jessica to find a way to contact me since I'd blocked her number. She started blowing up my email. WTF is wrong with you? Brian just called me, asking about my financial situation. You had no right to contact him. You're just jealous he's more successful than you. I laughed and sent back one line. Guess he's reconsidering if you're on his level now. Then I blocked her email too. Later that day, I got a text from Ryan. Dude, Jessica just got fired. She showed up 2 hours late for her shift because she had no car, then screamed at the manager when he wrote her up. Never seen anything like it. At this point, Jessica was carless, jobless. Her credit was tanking again, and from Ryan's follow-up texts, Brian was taking a step back to reevaluate their relationship. But there was one more thing I could do. When Jessica moved into her nice apartment 6 months ago, nicer than mine, actually, I had co-signed the lease because her credit wasn't good enough. Time to fix that mistake. I dug up the paperwork and found the landlord's information. I called the property management company, telling them that I co-signed for Jessica Wilson's apartment at 456 Luxury Living Lane. Due to a change in circumstances, I need to remove myself as co-signer on her lease. A week later, Ryan texted me that Jessica was served with an eviction notice. Without my co-sign and with her credit score now plummeting, she no longer qualified for the apartment. She created a new Instagram account just to message me, please, Jake, I'm begging you. I get it, okay? I messed up, but you didn't have to ruin my life. Where am I supposed to go? Please, just give me the car back so I can get to job interviews. I thought about it for a long time before responding. I didn't ruin your life, Jessica. You just lost the one I built for you. Then I blocked that account too. Just like that, Jessica was back to square one. No car, terrible credit, massive debt. A boyfriend who was backing away. And now no place to live. Ryan kept me updated on Jessica's drama. Apparently Brian didn't completely dump her right away, but he definitely cooled off. No more Cancun trip, that's for sure. He told her she needed to get her situation under control before they could get serious. According to Ryan, she was desperately applying for jobs anywhere that would hire her, but without a car, her options were limited to places within walking distance of wherever she was staying. Couch surfing at a friend's place, I heard. I was starting to think it was over, that Jessica would just fade away from my life, but I should have known better. People like her don't go down without a fight. A few weeks later, I got an email from a new address I didn't recognize. Subject, that Louis Vuitton bag you promised. Jake, I know you hate me right now, and maybe I deserve it, but you promised me that Louis Vuitton bag for my birthday next month. You even showed me the confirmation email. I was counting on that. After everything that's happened, you at least owe me that much. It's the only nice thing I'll have left." I stared at the email in disbelief. Was she serious? After everything, she was demanding a $2,000 handbag I'd stupidly pre-ordered for her birthday. The audacity of this woman was unbelievable. I replied, "The only thing I owe you is the reality check you're getting. The order has been canceled. Enjoy your birthday." I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. 2 days later, my friend Megan texted me, "Hey, Jessica reached out to me crying. She says she's really sorry about how things ended and wants to meet you in person to make things right. Should I give her your new number?" Jessica was good. She knew I wouldn't respond to her directly anymore, so she was trying to get to me through friends. I decided to play along just to see what she was up to. "What exactly did she say?" I asked Megan. Megan sent me screenshots of Jessica's messages, and holy crap, the manipulation was next level. I made the biggest mistake of my life letting Jake go. I was confused and stupid. Brian turned out to be such a jerk. He dumped me as soon as things got tough. Jake was the only one who ever really cared about me. I need to apologize in person and make things right. Could you give me his number? I think we could work things out if I could just talk to him. Then, further down in the conversation, was her real motivation, which she clearly didn't think Megan would share with me. "I just need him to help me get my car back, at least, and that bag he promised me for my birthday. If I play it right and cry a little, I think he'll give in. He's always been a softie." I didn't even get angry. That level of disrespect doesn't deserve rage, it deserves consequences. I wasn't mad at Jessica, she was just doing what users do. I was mad at myself for wasting my time on a gold digger. I called Megan and told her everything, showed her the text from Ryan about Jessica cheating, explained how I'd paid off her debts and bought her a car, the whole story. Megan was shocked. "She told me you guys broke up because you were controlling her spending and were jealous of her male friends," Megan said. "She said you took her car out of spite and were trying to get her evicted." I said, "But it's all lies." Megan sent me more screenshots of their conversation, and sure enough, Jessica had painted me as the villain. According to her version, I was an insecure, controlling boyfriend who freaked out when she got friendly with a customer at work, then went on a revenge spree because I was crazy possessive. Megan cut Jessica off after that, and apparently she told our other mutual friends too. One by one, Jessica lost her social circle. She had nowhere left to turn. In a last desperate move, Jessica showed up at my workplace. I was coming out of the building when I saw her waiting by the entrance. She'd clearly been crying, but she'd also clearly dressed to get my attention. Tight dress, hair done, the works. "Jake, please," she started as soon as she saw me. "I'm sorry, okay? I made a huge mistake. Brian dumped me as soon as he found out about my finances. I have nowhere to go, they're evicting me from my apartment. My parents won't help. I just need my car back to get to job interviews, please." My CO workers were watching, so I walked her away from the building before responding. "You don't get it, do you? This isn't about the car or the money. This is about how you used me for a year. I thought we were building something together, but you were just using me to fix your life so you could trade up." She tried to touch my arm, but I backed away. "I've learned my lesson, I swear. We can start over. I really did care about you, Jake. I was just confused." "No," I said firmly. "What you are is manipulative. You don't care about me. You care about what I can give you. The car, the bag, the financial support." And I just walked away, ignoring her as she called after me. That was the last time I saw Jessica in person, but definitely not the last I heard from her. A week later, my bank's fraud department started calling. When I finally answered, the rep informed me that someone had filed claims disputing several large transactions over the past year: credit, card payments, a vehicle purchase, trying to reverse them as unauthorized. Jessica. She was accusing me of fraud, hoping to get the bank to refund all the money I'd spent on her, including the car, essentially making me pay for everything twice. Fortunately, I had every receipt, text, and email proving she had not only authorized, but thanked me for those payments. I sent the bank all my evidence, and they shut down her dispute immediately, but not before warning me that filing false fraud claims of this scale could be considered attempted wire fraud, meaning Jessica wasn't just broke anymore. She was now looking at potential legal trouble, and she was definitely unraveling fast. Ryan texted that she begged for her job back, only to be shut down and left crying in the middle of a lunch rush. Then Megan messaged that she got caught trying to return fake designer bags at Nordstrom with phony receipts. Security had to escort her out. Word spread that she was couch hopping, burning bridges everywhere. A month later, Ryan gave the final update. Her parents, tired of bailing her out, told her she could move back home, only if she got a job and went to financial counseling. No more city life. When she whined that I'd ruined her life, her dad reportedly shut her down with, "You're almost 30. Grow up and fix your own problems for once." I had to agree with the guy. And with that, I thought that was it. Jessica moved back to her parents' place. My friends had stopped sending me updates about her, and I was starting to feel normal again. Then tax season hit. I've always been pretty organized with my finances. I keep digital copies of all my statements, track my spending, all that boring adult stuff. So, when I sat down to do my taxes in April, something immediately looked wrong. My W-2 form showed my expected income, but when I checked my annual bank statement, the numbers didn't add up. My actual deposits were significantly lower than what I should have had based on my paychecks and regular expenses. I started going through my statements month by month, transaction by transaction. That's when I found a pattern of cash withdrawals I didn't remember making. Small amounts, $200 here, $300 there, spread out over the past 6 months. None of them big enough to raise red flags individually, but added up. Almost $8,000 missing. I called my bank, feeling confused and a little scared. Was someone stealing my identity? Had my card been cloned? The customer service rep pulled up my account. "I can see several in-person withdrawals made at various branches," she said. "Each one was authorized with your debit card and PIN, and the withdrawal slips were signed. Can you send me copies of those slips?" I asked. 2 hours later, the images arrived in my email. My stomach dropped when I saw the signatures. They looked like mine, sort of, but I definitely hadn't written them. And then it hit me, Jessica. I called the bank back immediately and reported the fraudulent withdrawals. They started an investigation, putting a freeze on my accounts and issuing me new cards. They also said they'd be reviewing security footage from the branches where the withdrawals were made. 3 days later, I got a call back. "Mr. Reynolds, we've confirmed that the person making these withdrawals was not you," the fraud investigator said. "We have clear footage of a woman using your card at several locations. Would you be able to identify her?" "Yes," I said. "That would be my ex-girlfriend, Jessica Wilson." They sent me still images from the security cameras. And there she was, Jessica, using my debit card, signing my name. In some of the pictures, she was even wearing clothes I'd bought her. The investigator asked if I wanted to file a police report. I told him, hell yes. This was theft, identity fraud, and forgery. The police took my statement and collected the evidence from the bank. They seemed to take it pretty seriously. Apparently, financial crimes like this were a priority for them. "Have you given this woman permission to use your card?" the detective asked me. "I added her as an authorized user on my credit card," I explained, "but never my debit card. She must have seen me enter my PIN or found it written down somewhere." A week later, the detective called back. "We're issuing an arrest warrant for Jessica Wilson," he said. "This isn't her first offense." "What do you mean?" I asked. "We ran her name through the system. She has a history of similar complaints, though no convictions. 2 other men have reported nearly identical situations in the past 3 years. She seems to target financially stable men, gets access to their accounts, then drains them slowly." I felt sick. This wasn't just opportunistic behavior from a selfish girlfriend. Jessica was a predator who had deliberately targeted me from the beginning. The detective continued. "When we searched her parents' house, where she's currently staying, we found a notebook with detailed notes about your finances, passwords, and even a timeline for how long she needed to stay with you to get what she wanted." I sat down, feeling like I'd been slapped. "A timeline?" "Yes, according to her notes, she planned to stay with you until you paid off all her debts and bought her a car, then she was going to move on to her next target. This real estate agent she'd already lined up." Everything suddenly made sense. The way she'd cried when I first offered to help her financially, how she always seemed to be looking through my mail or watching me use my phone, the times I'd catch her in my home office, and she'd say she was just looking for a charger. She'd been studying me, learning my patterns, gathering information. I wasn't her boyfriend, I was her mark. The detective asked if I'd be willing to testify if the case went to court. I agreed immediately, not just for myself, but for any future guys she might target. 2 days later, Jessica was arrested for fraud and identity theft. Because of the amount stolen and the evidence of premeditation, she was facing actual jail time. Her parents called me, apologizing profusely. They had no idea their daughter was doing this, they claimed. They offered to pay back the money, but I told them to save it for her legal fees. She was going to need them. The bank eventually reimbursed me for the stolen money, though it took almost 2 months to sort everything out. Jessica eventually pleaded guilty to avoid a trial. She got 18 months in jail, plus probation, and was ordered to pay restitution to all her victims. Her parents sold her designer clothes and jewelry to help cover the costs. And yeah, it's been about a year since Jessica got sentenced. According to the victim notification system, she's still in jail and will be for another few months. Sometimes, I still can't believe all this actually happened to me. Like, how did I not see any of this coming? The aftermath of the whole Jessica situation was pretty rough. For months after finding out about the theft, I had trouble trusting anyone. I changed all my passwords, got a new phone number, installed a security camera in my apartment, and became super paranoid about my finances. I'd check my bank accounts multiple times a day, looking for any sign of unusual activity, but some good things came out of this whole mess though. For one, I actually ended up getting promoted at work. All those hours I used to spend with Jessica, I channeled them into projects and overtime instead. My boss noticed, and 6 months later, I got bumped up to senior systems analyst with a pretty sweet raise. I also used the money the bank reimbursed me, plus what I was saving on not supporting Jessica, to finally take that trip to Japan I'd always wanted. 2 weeks exploring Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka by myself. It was actually amazing to travel alone, no compromising on where to go or what to do, just me following my own interests. When I got back from Japan, I felt like a different person, more confident, less angry, ready to move on. That's when I met Sophia, and no, this isn't some BS happy ending where I immediately fell in love and everything was perfect. In fact, I almost ruined things with her because of my trust issues. We met through my coworker's game night. She was his wife's friend from college, nice girl, worked as a pediatric nurse, had her own apartment, financially independent. Exactly the type of woman I should have been excited to meet. But all I could think about was, is this another Jessica? Is she hiding something? What's her angle? The first few dates, I was super guarded. I'd deliberately steer conversations away from anything related to money or careers. I'd insist on splitting the bill exactly down to the penny. Once, she picked up my credit card from the table to hand it to me, and I practically snatched it out of her hand. After the 4th date, Sophia finally called me out on it. "Jake, what's going on? You seem like you want to get to know me, but then you put up these massive walls. If you're not interested, that's fine, but don't waste both our time." So, I told her everything, the whole Jessica story from beginning to end. I expected her to think I was damaged goods or too complicated to deal with. Instead, she listened, asked thoughtful questions, and in the end just said, "That explains a lot. Thank you for trusting me enough to share that." Sophia and I have been dating for about 5 months now. Things are going well, but I'm taking it super slow. She understands why, and that's one of the things I appreciate most about her. She doesn't push for more than I'm ready to give. We haven't combined finances or moved in together, and honestly, I don't know if I'll ever be comfortable with that level of financial entanglement again. But Sophia has her own career and her own money, and she respects my boundaries. As for Jessica, I don't think about her much anymore. The detective who handled my case told me that narcissistic people like her rarely change. They just find new victims and new scams. The fact that she's in jail gives me some peace, knowing that at least for now, she can't hurt anyone else. For any guys reading this who might be in a similar situation, where your girlfriend always needs financial help, where there's always some crisis only your money can solve, take a step back. Look at the pattern, not the individual requests. Ask yourself, is this person investing in our relationship in other ways? Do they show genuine gratitude or just move on to the next need? Would they do the same for you if the roles were reversed? I wish someone had told me this when I first met Jessica. It would have saved me a year of manipulation and thousands of dollars. But hey, at least my story might help someone else avoid the same mistake. As for me, I'm doing pretty good these days. New job title, new outlook, new relationship with someone who actually respects me. Sometimes karma needs a little help, but it always comes around eventually. Update: some of you asked for an update on Brian, the real estate guy. According to Ryan, who still works at the restaurant, Brian is now engaged to another server who started working there a few months after Jessica left. No idea if he knows about Jessica's criminal history, but I'm guessing he dodged a bullet when she showed her true colors early. Lucky guy.